Hey guys, Tristan from the CPAPstore.ca here. Today we're looking at the ResMed Mirage Quattro. We're going to do a full review of it. Now this mask here is one of the oldest masks we sell on the website, but it wouldn't be a good YouTube CPAP review channel if we didn't review all masks. This is a legacy mask, so you're going to see it and it's going to have a kind of a premium price tag to it. So it's not a premium mask if you're new to CPAP. It's not like the top of the line. It's actually the oldest mask we sell, and therefore it's a little harder to get. I'm going to try to review it in the eyes of 2024. And to be straight honest with you, this mask does not work for me. It doesn't fit very well. I don't find it to be super comfortable or anything like that, and it leaks for me. However, there is a good amount, and I mean good amount, of people who love this mask, which is why ResMed has still not discontinued it. And if you look on Google reviews, it gets very highly rated scores. And because of that, I'm not really sure if my review here is biased and it's a one-off, or if it's actually perhaps a fantastic mask. So please leave your comments down below, because I have a feeling that the reviews on Google are so high because it's so old of a mask that people who are just diehard fans of the mask obviously are reviewing the mask, and then everyone else has been weeded out by this point. It's kind of like if you were to ask the 1958 Studebaker car collecting club what car is the best car ever made. They're probably going to say it's a 1958 Studebaker, but that's not necessarily everyone's opinion. So I'm not sure, is it a good mask for the general public? You guys tell me. But I'm going to review everything you can see kind of objectively here to see if you might think it's a good mask for you to try if you haven't tried it. So it's a full face mask here. The bands here are quite thin. So if you look on the headgear here, it's actually a pretty stretchy material and a very thin headgear. At first I felt like, ooh, that headgear kind of looks like not very good quality. However, it is quite comfortable on the side of a pillow. It's very flush. It's almost like you're just wearing like a very thin headband or hat or something like that. Whereas something with like a little bit thicker cushion here, like another legacy mask, the F10, has a little more squish to it and doesn't have as much stretch to it. Whereas this headgear here is a much more fabric based. Now on the front of the headgear, we have the frame here, and it's quite a big frame. As you can see, it kind of goes all the way down. When comparing to modern CPAP masks, this is a pretty hardcore setup. But back in the day, 15 years ago, anyone on CPAP like really needed to be on CPAP because it wasn't as well known. So people who were getting diagnosed were like, it was like very obvious. Whereas now, more minimalistic masks are coming out because a lot more people in the general public are using CPAP and they're using a lot lower pressures. But back when this mask came out, people who use CPAP were typically on higher pressures. It is a very hardcore mask, a lot of adjustability to it. Now on the front here, this mask still uses clips, which is really nice, especially those with pacemakers or any other medical equipment that you can't have magnets. So I do like the clips, and the clips are tough, they're easy to click, and I think they're overall better than magnets. They're definitely just as good at keeping your mask secure. Maybe not quite as easy for people with arthritis and stuff like that, but I think these clips are pretty decent. They get the job done for sure. Now taking this mask off here, you can really see kind of the inside of the mask. Okay, so this cushion here is actually kind of a different material as other cushions. So if you look at it, F10 or F20, you see it's almost a different color. It's not as clear, and it has a more softer, kind of more supple feel to it. Whereas the Mirage has a very sticky kind of feel. I don't know how to explain it. It's just one of those more sticky kind of silicones or rubber almost, like you can actually like, it might actually be able to grip like the whole pot or something here. Whereas the other masks kind of use a little more of a softer silicone. If you look up top here, you actually have kind of the more modern silicone on top here. So I'm not sure if this is actually a feature or if this is just the material they had at the time. It does stick quite well to your face, but I find that it gets a little hotter. It doesn't feel quite as nice next to the face as this silicone up here. Now on the front here, we have the exhaust ports here, and we have a 360 swivel. This 360 swivel just goes around in a circle and has a rotation on the bottom where you connect your tube. It doesn't have any sort of like bend ball joint like you're going to see out of a Terra or an F20. To take the cushion off here, we take these two green tabs and we press them in. And then there's like this bottom one, and it's honestly not the easiest mask to take apart. It kind of is a pain, to be honest. Come on. There it is. And then it comes out like that, and then the cushion itself comes out in two separate pieces there. So you can wash it, which is nice in that aspect. It does come apart. However, there is more grooves to wash. I could see there being a little more moisture getting caught in here and caught in here, kind of like the edge of like the seal of a water bottle. You know, if you have a reusable water bottle for a while and the gasket there kind of gets hard to clean. Kind of like that kind of situation, a little bit harder to clean. I feel like that's why they probably went away from this design. And then just to put it back together, yeah, it takes a little more time. You have to put it back on this green frame and then back into the real frame. Click, there's like a bit of a click sometimes not. There, a bit of a click, and then the sides. Okay, so the mask is back together. And the last feature of this mask here is the top part, which is the forehead stabilization area. And you can actually rotate it here, and you can see that the front moves back and forth here. So you can really dial in the forehead, how much stability you want there. And it's also gonna determine the angle of the mask itself. And if you rotate this, it's obviously gonna be pushing your forehead that way. So it's gonna kind of be more like that on your face. So one thing I do like with the Mirage Quattro is it does kind of adjust based on how much kind of jaw prominence you have. You can turn the forehead support a little bit more, and that's gonna move the whole jaw kind of like that to fit a little more better around your cheeks and chin area. So that is kind of a feature that you don't really see on modern CPAP masks that I do like with this CPAP mask. Now, how do I think that this mask is in general for my use? Well, to be honest, I did find personally that I just couldn't fit it. I found that even if I tightened the straps a lot or didn't tighten them much at all, I honestly tried everything I could, I always leaked out of here and out of here kind of area, and it would make kind of like a whistling, kind of almost like a flatulent noise when the air escaped. So I couldn't really have too much success with that, and that also did happen no matter how much I adjusted the top here. I also found that the top here did almost give me like a bit of a headache. I think it was mainly because I couldn't get a good seal on this mask. I had to tighten it down a lot, and I was testing it with the straps pretty tight, tighter than I would normally use a CPAP mask. And it was giving me a headache, and yeah, I wasn't really a fan, and there wasn't really any good benefits because I wasn't getting a good seal. In addition to that, there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff touching your face. You have this stuff here on your forehead, you have all this stuff around your face, and therefore, if you're comparing it to some modern CPAP masks, obviously I should be comparing apples to apples, but this is the Micro from Fisher & Paykel. It's like the smallest CPAP mask on the market. And the entire pillows of the CPAP mask is smaller than just half of the forehead support of the Quattro. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot less breathability in this mask, a lot more red marks and stuff like that. And to me, it wasn't very comfortable. The last thing I didn't like with the Quattro is the exhalation ports here. They do shoot a lot of air. It is straight out. They're not really gonna ricochet off your blanket or something like that with ports going straight down, it blows back up, but it is gonna shoot your partner in the face with air. I tested it with my anemometer here, just kind of feeling the exhaled air on the front, and it got 5.95 meters per second, which is, I think it's the highest blowing mask I've ever tried. So if your partner doesn't like air blowing in their face, after testing all the masks that I've tried so far, this is the worst mask, I believe. The last thing about this mask that I'm not a fan of is just the complexity of it. There's a lot of parts to it. There's a lot of things. They don't really shake around or anything like that when you're wearing it, but I kind of alluded to before, it's hard to take apart and put it back together. There's a lot of stuff going on. So the cleaning process of this mask is a little more difficult than some of your newer masks. And you can't take off this ball joint and some of the stuff you probably could, you know, take it apart and wash it, but it's pretty complicated. There's a lot of pieces and nooks and crannies in this mask that are gonna be a little more difficult to clean. So I would definitely recommend, if you are on this mask, to give an F20 a go if you haven't. And if you are on this mask and you love this mask, please let me know why you like this mask in the comments, because it didn't fit my face. So this review is kind of biased because this is the overall objective things. Obviously it's an older mask, so I can't give it points for like quiet air because it doesn't have quiet air, but it just didn't fit me well. So I couldn't really say I love it in any aspect. And I would always pick like a Viterra or an F30i before this any day of the week. But there must be a reason why people love this, and there must be a reason why they still sell it. So let me know your comments down below. That's it for this review. If you're looking to buy this mask and you're new to CPAP and just wanted to know what it was, I hope this video was able to answer some of your questions, let you know what it is and why it's still around. It's a very interesting mask, nothing much like it on the market, but a lot of old school features. So it wouldn't be my first pick if you're trying CPAP for the first time. If you are looking for a mask, a full face mask that goes around the nose and stuff like that, I would definitely check out the F20 by ResMed first. or the Vitera by Fisher & Paykel. See you guys later.